Welcome, Amanda and Erica. Now, this is a threesome that I want to be part of at all times.
Same.
We are having fun today, just doing a casual chat about social media and where we are right now. We're recording this end of May 2022, and things I feel are just changing at a whim. Like every day, there's something new. There's something that kind of shifts our thinking. And the reason why this came up is actually, Erica, you had been posting you posted a lot about, how Instagram has changed. You had a piece of content. I can't think of how to say it. An Instagram post about what do we think about Instagram? It sparked this incredible conversation in the comments, which I've been kind of chatting back and forth behind the scenes with Amanda about. And here we go. Amanda's a social media strategist. She's a business owner. She's had her own experience with freaking Instagram and their policies. Erica, you've been working primarily on Instagram. You've built a huge audience over there. You also were disabled on Instagram at once.
Yes. Got banned.
And you've grown your business on Instagram. So this is like a really cool kind of almost mastermind about 3 business owners who have grown their businesses on Instagram and how do we feel today. So Erica, why don't you go first? Talk about that post and kind of what spurred it for you.
Yeah. So I have been trying to show up on TikTok more than I have before recently. And I keep noticing lots of conversations happening over there talking about Instagram, how things are shifting, what people think of it, bitching about Instagram, complaining about Instagram, sharing about Instagram, saying that they're ditching Instagram, all of these conversations. And I have been really tuned in and interested in all of them. But it occurred to me that I didn't really see people talking about this on Instagram. And so I really wanted to, this wasn't like a marketing ploy. I really was very interested in just hearing what people's takes were in my community that I have built over there to kind of see if this same conversation was happening, if people were realizing that there was this whole other world and conversation happening on TikTok. And so I did a really simple post, basically just saying, what are your thoughts about Instagram recently? I have some thoughts. I want to hear yours first. Go. And that was pretty much it. And the comment section blew up with lots of thoughts and opinions and hot takes. And it was just a lot of fun to kind of see where people were in their minds in this conversation, what their points of view were, and everybody's different opinion on it.
And would you say, like, overall, of course, you guys can go and check out Erica's Instagram and check out the post to see the comments, because a lot of really kind of heavy hitters on Instagram in the Instagram marketing world commented with their experience. Would you say overall people are happy or no?
I would say overall they are not happy. There were a decent amount of comments from people whose experience I can relate to. They've had a lot of success growing their business on Instagram. That's been their primary spot to do that and to connect with their audience and to sell their stuff. And oftentimes the common thread I would find amongst these comments is these people have figured out a way in their brain to not get obsessed with numbers and the algorithm and what it means about them and what it means about their business, which in general, no matter what you decide to do, I think is a very healthy place to be if you are going to spend time on Instagram. But there were definitely, I would say the majority of people were frustrated, not happy, really feeling like more than ever, they were not getting in front of the people that they wanted to. They were not making the connections that they once were as easily as they once were. And they just were feeling like, I don't know, I got the vibe that everybody just wanted to throw their hands up in the air.
Yeah. Like a feeling of just frustration and kind of just like over it, like defeated a little with the app.
Yep.
Amanda, how are you? How are you feeling when it comes to Instagram lately? She's frozen on my end.
Yeah, she froze.
Is she frozen on your end too?
Yeah. Oh,
okay. Are you there, Amanda?
I'm here. I was frozen, but I'm back. I'm sorry about that.
It's okay. It must be that Canada thing.
I think it's a Canada thing. I had better Wi-Fi in Mexico.
So what's your experience on Instagram lately? I know you've definitely had a little bit of a roller coaster as well.
Yeah, I mean, you guys know my account was disabled 6 times between like November and January, so very short period of time. And to get the account back, I tell you, it is mission impossible. We are like 007. We are scaling walls. We are just trying to make it through. And you really have to know somebody that works for Meta to get your account back. It was not a great experience. Customer service was like nothing. And my experience with Instagram lately is I've just been really confused of how they think that all these changes, the lack of visibility to content is an immersive experience as well. How do they think that this is a good user experience for people when they're not making it easy to consume content anymore? I find it very difficult if this new stories update actually takes place where they're going to feature 3 stories and then you have to click a show more button. People who aren't in this space are even going to know to do that. So how are you going to get your content seen, right? So I think that I just have a lot of confusion about what their angle is. And, for a, trailblazing platform, at least for many, many years, why are they stuck in the Stone Ages with user experience?
Mm. Okay, you bring up a really good point. So, just to kind of refresh everyone that doesn't really, it's funny because I talked to my girlfriend this morning at my workout, and she is on Instagram, uses it, but she doesn't follow the same people that I follow, like you guys follow. We get kind of the insider scoop on what's going on. We're very attuned to it. I'm sure all of us have Adam Mosseri's notifications on, right? Like when he posts something new, I want to know about it. I want to go over there. Yesterday, he posted a video and I was like, oh no, thinking it's going to be something new. And it was just a video of him playing Legos, right? But I feel like what's happening is there's so many changes that he's incorporating all the time, right? Now there's the NFT situation, like why? There's the stories update. There's the 9x16 or whatever they call it, the entire screen, very much TikTok like, that they're trying to include. And I follow this woman, Leah Haberman. I don't know if you guys know who she is. She's a social and influencer marketing instructor at UCLA. And she tweets and she has a great newsletter that she sends out, I think, once a week with kind of the top social media news from the week. And she posted about an article that came out on Bloomberg today, which you have to subscribe to. And I'm cheap and I don't want to subscribe to Bloomberg for this one article. But the headline is called It's TikTok's World Now. Facebook just tries to make people care about it. And it says Instagram became a generation's go-to social app on the strength of its filtered, aspirational lifestyle photography. Now the company is actively killing that identity in the name of beating TikTok, and it doesn't even work. So here's the problem. We have an app that's trying to be another app, but can't do it nearly as good as the other app. So if you're just trying to be the exact same experience of, like, if you're a restaurant and you're trying to mimic the exact same menu, that food better be bomb, right? Like, it can't just be kind of okay. Why wouldn't people go to the OG? So what are your guys' thoughts about that? Erica, you want to jump in?
Yeah, I often, as I think about this topic, and I have been thinking about it a lot more and having conversations like this, I'm just like so often left feeling confused because, you kind of were referencing this. If I was running a company and I saw what TikTok was doing and I really wanted to try and mimic them and offer similar experiences and get my community, who for whatever reason is just not as excited about me as they are on TikTok, I literally would be doing the opposite of everything that Instagram is doing. I almost sometimes feel like they're sitting around in a room and they're like, okay, guys, who has an idea about how we can piss people off today? Go. Like, I'm open for suggestions. Yeah. I'm open for suggestions here. So I just feel like am I missing something? I just am so confused every time they make a move, every time they do something. Even things like I get notifications all fucking day. Am I allowed to curse here? I forget.
Go, girl,
All
go.
day about people who used my audio in a reel, which is basically a song. Why? It literally does nothing for me. Why are you taking the time to let me know all day, every day that people are using my audio in that reel when it does absolutely nothing for me? And I mean, that's just like one tiny example. This new little test they were doing where they're only showing people 3 stories and then requiring them to like click in order to see more. My story views fell off a cliff like a year and a half ago. And you're telling me that the solution to this problem is you're making it harder for people to see my stories. The one group of people who I've been able to like really connect with and get excited to hang out with now have more of a challenge in order to consume my content. And so I'm ready to throw my hands up in the air too, and not throw my hands up in the air like I just don't care. Like, what the fuck are you all doing? Tell me so I can understand.
You're mentioning the stories, and Amanda mentioned it too. And, you know, I don't know about you guys, how you consume stories. I definitely consume stories more than I consume the feed. Although I was even telling Erica, my top fave story, content creators are never at the beginning of the feed. So sometimes I forget. I'll go weeks. I'll totally go weeks. But when I watch stories, you know, when I watch it, when I'm doing some kind of like mundane work around my desk or dishes, right? Like something where I'm multitasking, and I'll have my phone, my AirPods, and I'll just kind of have it playing. If I have to now dry my hands off to hit see, oh, bye, right?
Yeah.
The goal there, I guess they used to do, I liked how it did say like 5 out of 12. But then at the same time, why? Because you can see how many lines there are. Why do we have to know a number? You're right. What is the reason for these changes? What are your thoughts, Amanda?
That just reminds me of the TikTok sound. What was the reason? Because I want to know too. You know, it reminds me.
It reminds me of emotional damage.
Yeah. It reminds me of when they said they were going to go back to chronological feed, and you can now toggle your home feed between like favorites and who you're following, and then the normal Instagram feed. How many times have either of you toggled? I mean, maybe twice.
The first day.
Yeah,
the first
that's
day,
it.
if it worked.
And the same thing's going to happen with stories, because I'm like you, Donna. I love to rest my phone up there. I'm cooking, I'm baking bread, I'm getting my hands dirty. I can't touch my phone. And now I'm just going to miss this whole entire experience. It's really a terrible user experience. And then in terms of Instagram itself, I'm really sad that they're taking away the beauty of Instagram, which is having different formats for different people's communication styles. There's people who love writing long captions, but as soon as they go into this full screen format, this video first, captions are going to get shorter. Engagement is going to be way freaking different. It's going to mimic that of TikTok, right? Who knows if they're going to change the square feed to now rectangles. And the square feed is iconic. It is freaking iconic. It's what makes you know that you're on Instagram and a part of this community. So I just really feel like they're going to lose a lot of niches and communities because they're losing their formats, and they're replicating, duping a platform, and they're not doing a great job, as you mentioned, Donna. Whereas TikTok, all the niches are in the videos, but Instagram's niches are in the formats.
Yeah, that's so interesting to think about. Let's talk about this idea of discoverability, right? Lead generation and finding new followers. So I posted a reel a few months ago, which I stand by super, super strongly, that no longer can you grow on Instagram by staying on Instagram. You can only grow on Instagram if you get off Instagram. What I mean by that, like Clubhouse last year, doubled my following. If you get discovered on TikTok and you blow up, you will grow on Instagram. If you speak at an event, if you're on a podcast. So it's almost like you have to get off the app in order to grow the app, which doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make sense. Why can't Instagram figure out a way to serve you the content that you actually want to see? Like for you, the For You page on TikTok, which knows us 80% perfectly after 2 days. What's going
Yeah.
on there? What are your thoughts, guys?
I think, well, a couple of things. I think that the culture of Instagram is currently different than the culture of TikTok. And if you haven't spent a lot of time on TikTok, and I was even noticing that in some of the comments on my post, where people were saying, I don't want to see content from people that I'm not following. And I wanted to say to that person, you're wrong. Yes, you do, because the people that you're following are probably boring as fuck. And if you spent some time over on TikTok, you would realize that, like, I forget to go on my following feed. I spend all my time on my For You page because TikTok is so finely tuned to me and my interest. Their algorithm like needs to be studied in a lab for years to come. Like, people need to like create majors around how TikTok put their algorithm together, because when you spend some time there and you compare it to Instagram's algorithm, which I'll tell you how Instagram's algorithm works right now on the Reels feed. If you go on the Reels feed and you like a reel and it's a particular song, you will start seeing 17 other reels that just use that song. That is the only commonality. That is the level of sophistication over on Instagram. Whereas on TikTok, they are serving me content for things that I didn't even know I was fucking interested in. And as soon as I see the video, I'm like, well, now I want to learn how to do embroidery. How did you know TikTok?
Or like I'm obsessed with Harry Styles now. I had no idea that I would be until TikTok came around.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I could have told you that because, you know, you're of a certain age. All of us women just love Harry Styles. Like,
I guess that's the thing.
But he's generational, okay?
Yeah, seriously. But what's the thing about this algorithm, the idea that they nail that For You page so well, that would make Instagram more fun, right? Because what's happening is immediately we're bored on Instagram. Immediately we feel, you know, I don't know about your guys' Reels, like Explore page, but for me, and I've said this many times, you know, it's all 99% white women in a white kitchen with a really bright filter, with a glass of wine or a mug of coffee, and like lip syncing to a no, I don't want that. TikTok makes me think. It makes me laugh. It gives me hacks. I learn how to bake something I never have. Like I become a new, I seriously feel like it's school. TikTok teaches me hacks. Did you know that you can take the top rack in your dishwasher and the side and hold something up and it pulls up, and now the bottom rack has a lot more space? Didn't know. Thank you, TikTok. So this is the kind, see, there you go. This is the kind of stuff that is exciting to us as human beings. We want to be inspired and educated and interested. And so if we are, the three of us are just a sample of women. Obviously, the three of us have a lot of similarities. We're all three kind of in the social media space. We all have that entrepreneurial background, but we're just like a small little, like Instagram, if you guys are listening, we're three people that use and have loved this app. So what can we do, or what can be done if Adam and the team that are drinking scotch around a table could change anything? What would you guys suggest? What would be the top focuses for Instagram to get us back?
I mean, they need to adjust their, well, a lot of things. There's a lot of issues. Where do we start? But adjusting their For You page, their home feed page. I ran an experiment when I was first getting on TikTok of what niche does TikTok think I'm in? And you said it earlier, Donna, they literally figure you out within 24 hours. And, you know, 48 hours in, there's a couple questionable things. They were showing me a few like sports things, but I think I mentioned in passing, like, I really love, you know, the butts on baseball players and soccer players. So I was getting a lot of that content, but I'm not, you know, into sports. And then they quickly adjusted it. But they literally show, and I did a 5-day experiment, 80% of the For You page is new freaking content, new users that you don't follow, you haven't seen before. Instagram, you know what Instagram's percentage is? You see maybe 8% of people that you follow, that you freaking follow. So your content's not getting out there. So they need to really adjust that. And maybe have a focus group. Like talk and figure out what are the things that people actually want. We never asked for this 3 stories. What is that? What is going on here? And many other features that they released. How about, can I watch a live and minimize it and open up my browser and other things, or go and check out the hosts' pages on Instagram? That would actually keep me on the app longer, especially if they're referencing in their conversation something that's happening on Instagram. How about that, Adam? I don't know. So, I mean, that's where I would start, because they're really not listening to their creators, and everything is such a snooze fest. Like, I don't even look at my Reels page because I'm scared that it's going to be the same song 17 times, as you said, Erica, and I just don't fucking care.
Yeah. You mentioned something interesting, like just the user experience. If you're watching a live, because lives are great. I love watching lives. Unfortunately, when you're watching a live, you're stuck there, or you can't multitask. And we're in a generation, we want to multitask. So like YouTube, I invested in YouTube Premium because I love YouTube, and I'll be listening to a YouTube now, but being able to be on my phone or closing my phone and going on a walk, and I don't have to like hold it open, don't touch the screen to not listen. So that those are interesting points. I also think you mentioned something right before in terms of the algorithm, the getting seen by people that you follow, or that that follow you. I don't believe, and maybe I'm wrong, I don't believe that there's a lot of people that are on the app at a given time anymore, because there's a lot of people that have lives, like huge accounts have lives. The other day there was a social media, 3 like big social media. There are 3 of those accounts that, blew up because they taught you how to create reels. And so they all have 150,000 followers, and 3 of them were on a live together. You guys, there were 18 people in that live, 18 watching, 3 accounts with over 100,000 each. Then when I go live, you can see how many people are currently on Instagram from your followers. So I have 14,000 followers, and at any given time I go live, there's never more than 150 of my followers on Instagram. You guys, that's less than 1%. So I actually think the biggest problem is people aren't on the app. I think they're over on TikTok.
Yeah, I would
What do
love
you
to
think,
see
Erica?
those numbers and like the jump, right? Of this time last year to now, because that is really interesting. Anyways, go ahead, Erica.
Yeah.
Like, I'm shocked. Like, what
No,
is this?
I just was going to say to you, again, I think there is a piece of this that I think is related to how our industry at large is changing a little bit, and some cultural things that are shifting. And again, we're all kind of in this online entrepreneurial space. And I see things like, putting TikTok aside, putting Instagram aside, I do see some shifts there as well, that I think are interesting, as it relates to this conversation, like certain things around launch culture and certain things about what people are looking for in terms of content and creativity and things like that. On TikTok, and Donna, you and I like to talk about this sometimes too. Like, I always love to kind of pull up with my chair and a notebook when I see somebody doing something really creative in the way that they're sharing their content. And I rarely see this on Instagram anymore. There are a couple of examples, like recently the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial is going on right now. And House and Habit is an account on Instagram that I think has really, in a fun way, kind of reinvented the way we consume news and
Current
information.
events.
I'm sorry? Current events. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's as instant as you can get it. We're not watching Access Hollywood anymore.
Right. And I would rather watch House and Habit than Access Hollywood. It's way more informative and entertaining. And so I do think that it happens a little bit on Instagram, but really it's all happening on TikTok for me. And I think there are so many interesting people over there. Like, I know both of you guys have talked about Elise Myers, who
Love
has,
her.
yeah, I mean, she to me is like a more mature kind of like Emma Chamberlain type character a little bit, where if you don't follow this woman, you should follow her immediately, but like kind of casually sharing content and thoughts and moments of her day in a way that is not polished, is not necessarily like very planned ahead, is tackling topics that a lot of other people are avoiding and not talking about. And there is something so freaking compelling about it. I also talk about Bethany Frankel, who, the Real Housewife from New York City, who I think is so interesting as well, because she is often sharing what I've heard people call like chaotic content, which is doing it in a way like she's talking often about, now her thing is like reviewing different makeup products. Half the time she's not wearing her glasses, like she's trying to see what a makeup product is called. She doesn't even remember. She's not sure, like, does she like this thing or not?
There's
She's
always
comparing.
There's always this much headspace above her. Like her phone is always, she's always here. I'm like, move your head up.
She's pulling stuff out of the garbage, and yet I cannot stop watching it. And I'm out at CVS buying shit that she's telling me to buy.
Me too.
Oh yeah, big
I got
time.
the burgundy.
I
Haven't tried it. Yeah, like I haven't tried the burgundy mascara. Like I need to do that today because, like,
Green eyes.
Right. So I think that is happening now for whatever reason on TikTok in a way that it's not happening on Instagram. And the interesting thing is, I think because Instagram has gotten themselves into this place where they're constantly playing catch up, they're not innovating either. They're not setting the tone. They're not setting the temperature. They're just doing everything that TikTok is doing.
Or Snapchat has done.
Yes, 100%.
They're not, there's something going on there with the team. They need to either hire someone that is like incredibly innovative and really out there, or bring in someone that knows, you know, what people actually want, or just go back to the way it used to be. Just be a beautiful photo sharing app where people can write long form captions that, like, I remember the first time, you know, when I was really into Instagram at the beginning, I would follow a lot of these like Rachel Hollis type women. And it was a lot of really, really beautifully written captions with one picture. And I would read those captions from beginning to end. Erica, your captions I always loved your captions. I loved writing those captions. I had so many people saying like, they're beautiful. You guys, I put a reel up. I put a 1-sentence caption. I'm over it. I don't even care to. Why? Because we know that nothing that you say really will make a difference there. It's not being pushed. Is there a way, just to kind of like, you know, get towards the end of this conversation? Well, 2 questions. First, predictions in terms of where do you think we're all going to go as entrepreneurs in the next year? Are we going to stick around and kind of rough it out? Or are we going to go somewhere else? And secondly, is it possible to stay on only Instagram right now in this time and grow? Not just following, but grow your business. So who wants to go first? Heavy hitting questions. Diane Sawyer over here.
Woohoo! It's not possible to just grow with Instagram. I mean, I think I told you, I really treat my Instagram page as my new website. I still do believe that there's a lot of value over there. If someone's telling me about a spa that I need to check out, I go to their Instagram first. Or when I was traveling, I would always go to the restaurant's Instagram first because it's a mini portfolio. I felt like there was a lot more like real-time content there, and I could see stuff that was happening now as well. I love the DMs and treat it kind of like my customer service chat box on a website. And I think there's a lot of value there to really nurture communities, but you've got to get off Instagram to really grow on Instagram, whether it's through Pinterest, YouTube, TikTok, podcasts, Twitch is another big one, Reddit, like all of these other platforms are essentially traffic drivers now to the new website, the new portfolio, your new customer service chat box. So I really just think like big changes need to be made. I don't think this time next year it's going to be anything like we see it now, especially if they keep trying to replicate other platforms without innovating in any kind of way. And I'm sorry, like putting 3 stories and then a show more button is not innovation. You're just like, burning yourself to the ground.
Yeah. I love that. That's interesting. I never thought of Twitch and Reddit, and that overwhelms me. I love Reddit, but I've never even posted. I just read, and I would love to know. Maybe we should talk separately another time about how Reddit can be used to grow your business. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
Erica, your thoughts?
I mean, I also noticed a trend in the post that I did in the comments, and I saw quite a few people saying, I am focusing on getting back to basics, my email list, and really focusing my time and effort there and embracing the fact that there's all this shit on Instagram I don't like. There's all these things I can't control. Let me really lean into the things that I can control. And podcasting, another perfect example. This is something that I notice myself. If I find somebody new and I'm really intrigued by them and I want to learn more from them, I will sit for 8 hours listening to their podcast. I will take in all of their information. I can in one day make a connection with somebody that is so deep. There literally would be no way for me on Instagram to do something like that. And I think there is a little bit of this move kind of back to those basic things where we're realizing as business owners, there are certain things that are really very advantageous to us to be taking advantage of and leaning into and really using to grow our business. So I am not at the point where I'm ready to completely jump ship from Instagram. I have grown to completely not related, very successful businesses. I was an interior designer before I was a coach, and I have never placed an ad once. Not that I have a problem with ads, but all of my growth has been organic, and it has all come from Instagram. So I don't know if I'm going to reach a point where I'm really ready to jump off the cliff and not be there at all. I've heard you both talk about using Instagram as your website, and I so resonate with that. I spent some time recently really updating my highlights, which I know you talk about too, Amanda, and making sure that they were juicy and valuable. And I was taking those people who come and for whatever reason, they're like, I can't get enough of this chick. I want to dive in. I wanted to make sure that, again, I was taking control of that experience and really ensuring that they're able to learn more about me and my business in a way that I have very specifically designed and laid out for them. So I do think that's something, if you're feeling frustrated on Instagram, I really would encourage you to pay some attention to your highlights and remind yourself that that's such juicy real estate there. And if you are thinking about your Instagram presence like it's your website, those highlights are your nav bar. And you really could take people through that in a way that could be very beneficial for you. So I don't know what the future is, but I am here to watch with my popcorn and my DMs back and forth to you guys.
Well, your
I think
highlights too, Eric,
what were you
are
saying, Amanda?
interactive. I was just saying, the highlights are an interactive experience. You can send a link for somebody to watch through a highlight. So if you're talking about your offers or a very specific program, or you're telling the story of how you built your business, they can now watch this happening instead of just, a little note back or text version. I can experience it and really see the energy behind a brand or a business. I'm all about the highlights too, Erica. They're such a valuable piece of real estate and should be taken very seriously. Okay.
Yes, and most people don't.
Yeah, I think the highlights is something that I need to definitely work on more, because you're right. It's always going to be there as a place for people to go if they want more. I don't think it's a place where people are going to find me necessarily. I can have a reel perform very well, been shared 500 times, and it still doesn't include or lead to a lot of followers, but I can't blame people, because the truth is I don't follow a lot of new people on Instagram either. I follow them over on TikTok. It's so easy to just press follow, because exactly what we said. You don't get cluttered by all the people you're following over there. I think personally, the connections, I don't know if I would have been able to be comfortable enough to have lunch with Erica yesterday or chat with you, Amanda, and have you on my podcast a bunch of times if I only met you on TikTok. I think the connections all got really strengthened through Instagram. I don't know if that can still happen now. I don't know if those new connections can. but like the DMs, there's still magic there. I still tell people as a call to action on TikTok, DM me on Instagram, right? Because I don't want you to, I think on TikTok, you can only DM if you're both mutually following also, or there's a thing there. So there's always going to be a place for it. I think it's an interesting experience. I think for anyone that is really kind of feeling frustrated and they just want to throw their hands up, I would highly suggest going all in. This is my thought. Okay. I don't care if your content doesn't perform very well, because even if a reel performs very well, what does that actually mean? If the reel is you lip syncing to a bottle, it doesn't really mean anything for your business. So why don't you just follow your heart right now and post on Instagram what you want to post on Instagram? If it's a static picture of you, on a run or whatever, or if it's a video, or if it's a carousel, who cares? A graphic, a quote, do whatever it is that lights you up, because I don't think we can really expect Instagram to validate us from an external place anymore. It's almost like it should just be what makes us happy. And then if you want to grow, start branching out into these other places. What do you think?
I think
I
that's
agree.
the move. I mean, I am still very new on TikTok. I post stuff all the time that gets like 14 views. And I'm still going to keep going. I challenged myself to do a 30-day series because I needed a little bit of structure around me showing up over there. And so I'm kind of documenting this last month as we pivot our business into this agency model. And again, have I seen my follower count jump? Am I getting 72 comments on each post? No, but I'm getting my sea legs over there. I'm trying things out. I'm seeing how things work, and I'll reevaluate after that. But it's very clear to me that TikTok is the place to be. And so it's right now worth my time to invest over there and see kind of what comes of it.
Yeah. Amanda, what about you?
Yeah, I'm definitely following my heart. I still have a lot of heart in Instagram stories too. And I don't know if either of you noticed, but I've been spending a lot of time posting a lot more of the personal side of my life, and like lessons learned, and some of the struggles in my own growth in business, as well as just what I'm up to, because the general feedback that I've always gotten on my content, even from people who have been my clients, who have, purchased a course or whatever it is they've never purchased from the informative carousel that I post. They always purchase from me doing something dumb, and mundane in my stories, from baking bread, because they connect with that, or the books that I'm reading. And now we're following each other on Goodreads. So if you guys are on Goodreads, let's be friends over there. And that really got me thinking of, I need to lean into this some more, because if Instagram goes away, if any of these social media channels go away, I need to know that I've got the Amanda Kohal personal brand on lock as well. And there's still content and value in sharing this way, as opposed to just being tied to tactics, strategy, and that type of content.
Yeah, that's such a good point. Bringing people into kind of who you are holistically as a person, rather than just what you do for business and what you do, because we can't rely our businesses on Instagram sticking around and teaching how to show up on Instagram, etc. Another suggestion for anyone listening, or for you guys, I really have leaned into creating my off network community on Mighty Networks. So essentially it's a free community. There's tiers to it. So anyone can create these. You can do it something on Discord. You can do Slack. You can do wherever you want. Mighty Networks felt like the most fun for me, because you can upload pictures and videos, and I can also host courses there and stuff. But what's cool about it is it takes people off of any of these social media apps, and it puts them in a place where now I kind of like have them in I hate using the word container, but like my little home, right? And it feels like now I have a little bit more control. It gives me that freedom to know that, like, if God forbid everything else goes to shit, at least this feels like we still have our people. And I'm growing that every day. So consider something like that too, because that could also be a good option. Don't just rely, for anyone listening, on social media to host your community. Like, that's it. You just can't, because people leave. You guys are amazing. Amanda, why don't you share where people can find you and what's going on with you in your biz, and then I'll wrap it up with Erica.
Well, you can find me on my Instagram website at thewolf.co. And all of my links to the other channels are included in their email list, wherever you want to hang out. But thank you for this conversation. It feels good to talk about it because, Erica, I agree. Like, we're not talking about it enough on Instagram. We're just kind of like poking at it a bit over on TikTok. But it was nice to go a little bit deeper. So thank you.
What about you, Erica? So you can find me on my Instagram website as well, which is my first name and my last name. And we are launching with my husband, Greg, a new agency, which is super exciting for us. So you could also find us on the.icon.agency. And we're calling this the first empire building agency. And so what we're doing is we're combining one-on-one coaching, accountability coaching, and done-for-you services. But not just one kind of done-for-you services, not just branding, not just SEO, all of them. And we're working with women who are really trying to have that next gigantic big up level in their business and get it done quickly. So we have 3-month sprints. Our first one is going to be in July. And we're super excited to get this off the ground. And so been using TikTok, been using Instagram, and we're going to see how everything goes.
I love it. I wonder if the Icon agency should have its own TikTok. That feels too much.
We registered our account. I think I need to figure out my TikTok first, but I do not disagree. I think it's a really good idea.
I mean, I already told Erica yesterday she needs to have a podcast with Greg. They need to have a podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been waiting. And a book. Let's go.
But I think people really would like immediately get to feel like they, just like you said, not only know you, like a lot of people feel like they know you. I don't know if as many people feel they know Greg. And so that feeling of like hearing kind of your brains in action could be fun.
Yeah.
I'm just a big audio person. I'm constantly listening to podcasts. So I think it's the best way for any of you guys that are feeling stuck on Instagram and you want to be a thought leader or an expert or have authority, like start a damn podcast. It doesn't hurt. It's super easy. I can talk you through it. Everyone can. Okay. So I love you guys. I appreciate you so much. We should do this. We should like do this every 3 months, like kind of a check-in, like an Instagram WTF check-in. And I came up with a new word. Instead of Instagram website, we're just going to call it my Insta site.
Woohoo! I love that.
Love it.
Yeah. Okay. I'm copywriting it. You know what? Adam Masseri will take it tomorrow. So don't worry. It's gone.
I registered the URL.
Yeah. Right. All right, you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.